Scotty. And we're here with the Matatanes podcast. We have a special guest here today. We have a good friend of mine, Kendra Raypholtz. I know we had a little dance here in in South Carolina. It was fun. But our other special guest is Kendra Raypholtz. She's actually a hockey player. She committed to Syracuse to play D1 hockey. So, you know, really proud of this young lady. I've known her since she was like 10 years old. So, yeah, clap it up for her. So, you know, again, here with the Matatanes podcast, the New York Yankees table. This is where you're sitting at, unfortunately. I know we're in Cleveland, but, you know. So how are you doing today, Scotty?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
How are you, Kendra?
I'm good. I'm excited to get this podcast started.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So how did you get into hockey?
Yeah, so I started skating when I was about
4 maybe.
4 years old. I actually hated it at first.
Really?
Yeah, like I think like my first lap around the ice, like I was like, I'm done with this. Like I don't want to do this anymore. But you know, once I got the hang of it and started going, actually I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the competition and the high tempo and the high pace that no other sport really gave me.
Where did you start playing hockey?
I started playing about, there's a rink like 5 minutes from my house. It's called the Pond.
Ooh, the Pond. That's a good one. Pond.
Mm-hmm. And I just kind of, well, my sister played. That's how I got into it because I was always dragged around there watching her play. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that. So I started playing out of the Pond for my first couple years, just like some local little like mites program. And then once I got older, like squirts, peewees, right? I think I transitioned to Gilmore for a couple years. That's when I played in the CSHL with the boys team.
Oh, the Cleveland Suburban Hockey League.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Let's clap it up for the Cleveland Suburban Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then what'd you do after that?
After that, you know, kind of during that time, like that was when I turned to my dad and I was like, I really feel like I could do this in college. Like, I want to be on that national team. Like, I want to.
Yes. There was that moment where your kiddo looks up at you with those big doughy eyes, right?
Yeah.
And like, Dad, I got a dream, you know, and you've got about 2 seconds to figure out how you're going to respond to that, you know. Are you going to be, kid, you know,
you're out of your mind?
You're crazy. You're out of your mind. That's unattainable. You know, think more realistic. Or, and what I chose to do was, look, man, that's a pretty big, lofty goal you got, but the difference between you being here and there is just hard work. Like, I didn't know at the time, you know, I didn't know.
Did you play hockey?
No, I had no idea about any of this stuff, right? I'm just a dad, and I'm like, well, you know, you want to play this sport? Let's go play this sport. We'll see, you know, we'll figure it out. We'll see what we can do, right? And so I was like, you just got to put in work, kid. And she never failed to do that. Like,
she just worked hard every single day.
I kept feeding her more. And I'd say, hey, well, you want to go do this power skating? You want to go do this clinic? You want to do this camp, you know? And she was always like, yeah, I want more. I want it. I want it more. And it just kind of snowballs, really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you played at Gilmore. And what team were you on after that?
Yeah, so kind of going off of that, like wanting more, there was this program called the Jacks. I think they're prospects now. Yeah. That's what they're called. But they were the next level, probably travel AA, AAA team. Okay. And that's where I went after.
Was this girls or boys?
This is boys.
Ooh, you want to play with boys. Let's go.
Well, it all comes like from, so she did a regular season, and then it was like spring hockey with a local guy named Georgie. And
we all love Georgie.
Yeah, Georgie.
Georgie, if you're watching this,
Georgie.
we love you, Georgie.
Right? He was always very supportive of Kendra, but he had a spring league, you know, and he had a team, and she fell on that team, and one of the parents was on that Cleveland Jacks team, and reached out to us and said, hey, you ever thought about this, you know, this travel level, you know? And no, didn't know anything about it, clueless, right? But we'll give it a shot, right? And so that puts you moving out of the CSHL into this travel league thing, right? It was kind of homegrown.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I got a question for you. So, if anybody out there starting to play hockey, you think the CSHL is a good place to start?
I think the CSHL does a wonderful job with what they have, right? Like it is what it is. And Cleveland, actually, there's a good number of teams around the metro area, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're a kid and you want to play hockey, there is an opportunity to do it here in the Cleveland area. And you do not need to be traveling all over the country to do it, right? It's available. And I think I've always thought they did a really good job. It just, for her, specific to her, that came the time when it was, she wanted more, a little bit more. We were looking for a little bit more. And the Jacks in those early years provided that for her.
Oh, that is amazing. Actually, I have a similar story with my kids playing. You know, obviously we met you at the Jacks, and you know it was a great year. And then after that, you decided to go to Pittsburgh. So how did
decide?
You know what? That's the question I wanted to get. Like, how does that happen? Obviously, you're in Cleveland, good. You're competing, but again, why did you chose to go to Pittsburgh? You're an Ohio girl. You live in what is it? What city is?
Well, we're Bainbridge Township.
Bainbridge Township. Yeah. So it's about close to 2 hours to Pittsburgh.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, and then you're traveling. So how far is Gilmore from you?
20 minutes.
Yeah. So Gilmore's about 20 minutes.
Okay.
The pond is 5 minutes. Yeah.
But sometimes they say you have to leave where your comfort zone to get to where you want to be. But like, why did you choose Pittsburgh?
Yeah. So when I was kind of making that transition from like Pee Wee to Bantams, we kind of knew that there was going to be a time where I needed to switch to a full-time girls program. Okay. And obviously, I did really consider Gilmore and like the Barons program. They had that really solid, girls program. But we also, I also knew of the Penn's program, and obviously that was very attractive to me as a consecutive top 10 program. And I think before Bantams, I think it was like my Pee Wee year, we were just like, hey, might as well go see what it is and see what it is. So we went out to tryouts. So I tried out for the boys program and the girls program, and
at the Pens. But you know what? Mm-hmm. Let me take you back. You did play for the Lady Barons, right?
I did.
How was that experience?
I mean, I think it was extremely positive. I think the girls that I played with now, obviously, I'm still in contact with and I'm still really close with. Okay. And I also think it was a really good experience for me to kind of get that atmosphere of girls playing instead of a boys team, you know what I'm saying? So then I got to be around.
So that's what the Cleveland Lady Barons gave to you.
Yeah.
So that's why you chose. I'm sorry to cut you off. I went ahead of myself. No but that's why. So that was the foundation for you for girls hockey, and then you wanted to do something. Obviously Pittsburgh has a lot more girls to choose from, better talent at times. Yeah. But you know what? You got to start somewhere. And, obviously everybody here in Cleveland, like I said, I'm proud of you. I was proud that both my son and his twin sister got to play with you, and then to have you here, it's amazing. It's a testament. If you have something in your mind, go ahead, go after it, because only yourself could stop you. So, I'm really proud of you, believe it or not.
Oh, thank you.
So going back to the Pens, sorry I cut you off. So you went to the Pens. How was your first year?
Not gonna lie, it was really rough at times. I think, coming in as an outsider, and I actually had my coach switch positions on me, so I went from defense to a forward. Which I had no clue what I was doing. I'm gonna be honest with you, and that was extremely hard. And I think mentally, I learned a lot that year. Okay. And it taught me that, again, kind of the aspect of hard work, and you get what you put into it. That year I was kind of third line, last line forward, but now to kind of look back at that and see where I am now is really
it's amazing. Go ahead.
At that time though, we should touch on it. It wasn't a cold break from Cleveland. We went through a tryout process, and then she stuck with the Jacks another season, and then the next season we went back down again for another tryout, And that was the time when she felt like I should go. Like, so she gave them 2 goes. Like, it wasn't her trying out for the Pens. It was the Pens trying out for her. She went down there and she felt like she had some possibility down there. And so when she went, though, you gotta give the Jacks a little bit of credit here. It was Bantam 1. It was Bantam 1 year, right? And they wanted her, and she wanted that experience, but she knew that she had to go down to the girls. And so I remember there was a phone call, and I said, look, man, she's decided that she needs to be on that U14 Pens girls team. And they were like, well, can she play any can she show up for any? And we checked, and you could double roster, but the Pens, you had to commit to them, right? And I went back to those guys. I'm like, man, I'm like, this is, there's a price tag to all this, right? And I will never forget. They said, well, don't worry about it. We ordered the jerseys, and we've already got one with her name on it. And she's welcome. She's welcome to show up whenever she can.
Who said that to you?
Brian Carter.
Oh, I see him all the time in the ring. So
right.
Brian Carter, you were an impact, obviously. You recruited my son too. So, it gave a different perspective of hockey. He's not playing hockey anymore, but he's doing baseball, which is fine. Mm-hmm. You used to be a soccer player too, right?
I did, yeah, for a little bit.
That's amazing. So I got a question. I know you said earlier that your sister was playing hockey, and that's how you got started. Mm. Is she still playing?
She's not, but she's gotten into something new. She's a coach for rugby now.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. You go from hockey to rugby?
Yep.
Where at?
Ohio University.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So they have a rugby team?
They have a rugby team.
Oh, and she's the coach.
Well, they had one, and when Peyton first showed up, they were struggling to field a sevens team.
Okay. I
don't know rugby very well. But since then Peyton came in and she played, and then she helped out with the coaching, and then she took the coaching spot, and she, in the years following then, she really built it up. And now I think they got 2 teams.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
They've got the roster.
You knew nothing about hockey.
Nothing.
Then she's go play college hockey. And you know nothing about rugby, and then your daughter's a coach.
Yep.
Man, it's something with you. It's something with you.
I just sit back and let the girls pick their own life, choose their own path, right?
Obviously, I talk to my kids all the time, and it's like, once you start getting older, we're just kind of like guiding at this point, because, they're eventually they're going to move on and choose their, like you said, choose their path. But we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with Kendra and Scotty. I'm gonna put this crazy dance on this break so you guys can see it. We go way back, but we'll be right back with the Matatanes podcast. Hey! And we're back with the Matatanes podcast. Mr. Scott Raypholtz and Kendra Raypholtz, his daughter. Obviously, did you guys enjoy the video of me and Scott dancing? So that was actually pretty cool. So that goes way back.
That goes back.
Yeah, way back. What are we gonna do when these kids are gone? Are you gonna be traveling to Syracuse?
I would imagine I'll be driving making that trip, watching those games. Yeah.
Hey,
in the snow.
That's pretty cool. So obviously we talked about your beginnings, Lady Barons. We talked about Pittsburgh, the Jacks. Okay, so she goes to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you're driving.
I'm driving
an hour and a half each way.
Mm-hmm. I got a story.
Okay, and that's where we're getting to.
Story time.
You know what? I'm gonna do this. Hear the story. You got to clap it up for the story.
Okay. So I don't know if it's going to be that good of a story, but it was about this time of year.
Okay.
A few years back. I don't remember when, but the light, the tire light on the car is coming on, and I'm going down and I fill it up, and going through this for about a week or two. And finally I get like a day where I took it into the tire shop, and I'm like, all right, I got a bad leak on this tire. Dropped it off, came home, I was working, and guy calls me up, and he's screaming at me, and he goes, these tires are bald. You know, what are you doing? You're going to kill your family driving in your car like this, right? And I'm like, all right, buddy, just put some new tires on, you know, do it, you know. And I hung up, and I got to thinking about it. And I'm like, I looked. I called the guy back. I'm like, you tell me they need new tires. I'm not arguing any of that. I said, but I looked, and almost like within a day, a year ago, I bought new tires.
Wow.
And you know, I buy the good ones, right? And I said, can I get a little love on this next set? You know? And he's like, well, wait a minute, let me look. He looked it up, and he goes, well, no. He goes, you're at 62,000 miles. I drove 62,000 miles in 1 year. So that was the wife's car. This was post-COVID. So she's teleworking. She's working from home, right? So 62,000, probably 58 of that, 55 of that was hockey in 1 year.
Jennifer and I put about 100,000 in both of our cars in from October of 2023 till now. So trust me.
Yes.
I know. I did the crazy part thing, going to Columbus and everything, but you know. So the first year you were traveling back and forth, right?
First couple.
Okay. Then what happened?
Well, we did the Pens, and then we came back, and then year 3, right? Yeah, year 3, she got involved with the Pens Excel program.
What is that, Kendra?
I'll let her talk.
So the Excel program's it's separate from Pens, but a lot of the Pens kids do it because it's right there, you know what I'm saying? And it's basically, so it partners with a school, and I get out at 1 o'clock every day, and my electives are a lift and a skate. So Monday through Thursday, I have a lift and a skate every single day. And then on top of that, with my Pens program, I have a lift and a skate Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Okay, so you're on the ice pretty much every single day. Mm-hmm. So what do you do on the weekends?
Play games.
Oh, okay.
That's game time. That's game time.
I just wanted to see what you were going to say. Where were you at this past weekend?
We were in Philly. We played Shattuck and Bishop Kearney.
You guys beat them?
We beat Shattuck, yes we did. And Philly.
You did look at that school, right? You looked at Shattuck.
I did.
And what made you not go over there?
It's out of my budget.
Oh, okay. And that's totally fine, you know, obviously, you know. And then you chose the Pens. But again, why? So I know your dad every summer, and you know, I've been trying to get him to my house for I don't know how long. Every summer, we're like, yeah, we're going to do a barbecue. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Nope, I'm booked. So you play on all these summer teams. He has this crazy plan, and there's something else that I'm going to say about this guy too. So, but we'll get back to that. So he has this crazy plan. Is it going to be crazy this summer again?
No, we've had a fundamental shift in our summer travel.
Okay.
Pay to play, I call it pay to play. You play everywhere you play, but
yeah.
The early years we did a lot of summer. The season never ended for us, so we pick up spring and summer, and we got to moving around a little bit, and it was COVID. The COVID year was the first year. There's a big tournament called Beantown.
Yeah,
awesome.
Been to that one.
Boston,
that's great.
Obviously, right? And teams from all over the country and Canada come in. It's a pretty good tournament, right? And we had gone with the Barons, I think, and then COVID came, and that year they decided not to travel. Nobody was doing anything, right? And we were kind of sitting around, and I remember thinking, I looked, and the tournament was still happening, it was still going on, and her mom, my wife Trace, reached out to somebody, I think a coach in Canada, who reached out to a team, and they're like, yeah, we've got a spot, you want to come? And so COVID summer, we drove to Boston, you know.
With your mask on?
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I probably was breaking a bunch of rules, you know, but we were staying in hotels.
No.
We were staying in hotels, and we were the only ones there, right?
Really?
Yeah. Like,
where's everybody else at?
Started traveling. We did that. We went to Beantown, and we did that, and that sprung us into the summer tournament travel team stuff, right? And I think she played more that COVID summer than she ever had.
Wow, that's actually so. What are your plans for this summer?
So this.
Well, what are your plans for this summer?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So these past couple summers, like tournaments and college camps are the big focus to get that like recruiting aspect, because obviously coaches can't really come watch us during the season because they're playing. So now obviously that I'm committed and I don't really need that recruiting aspect anymore. It's going to be more focused like training and lifting.
Skill development.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, she'll do a lot of that. I think actually, Ed, she's going to get a job this summer.
No. What? Yeah, doing what?
She's going to go make money somewhere. Doing anything she wants. I don't care.
Okay. So you're so mean. She's about to go to college, bro.
She wants that.
Oh, and that's totally fine. But see, Manny wants to work, but I'm like, are you going to be able to play baseball? That's your season.
Yes, they can do that. They can get up at 6. They can do their workout. They can do there and then go put in a 6, 7, 8 hour day somewhere, work, and then come home, eat, lift again, do whatever. They've got plenty of time for that.
Okay. You know what? Jennifer was trying to talk me into it, but okay, whatever.
It's an experience that every kid needs to have.
That makes sense. Oh my God! So college showcases going crazy. Why Syracuse?
Well, my recruitment process was a little bit crazy, I guess you could say. So actually, I got deadlined when I was making my decision.
What does that mean?
So basically, another school, not Syracuse, a different school that I was talking to, who I had previously visited. Well, yeah, I previously visited, and they gave me 48 hours to make a decision.
Wow.
And it was after our team media day, taking photos and whatnot, and after practice, 9:00 at night, I got that phone call, and just in tears, freaking out, like, had to make my college decision in 48 hours. But I think Syracuse, when I told the coach that, they were able to make me a visit in that next day. So I was able to have
So they really wanted you.
They did.
So crazy, right? So her team was scheduled to travel to Canada that weekend for a tournament.
Okay.
And so that's leave Thursday. Drive up to Canada, start playing on Friday, right? So Monday night, she gets, quote-unquote, deadlined, right? So we turned around, and she got with, let me back up, like, she's freaking out. And there were some key people down in Pittsburgh that kind of helped her out. Would you touch on that?
For sure. Sean Sweesham and Coach Howard and Kathy Pippi, I feel like definitely really, really set me up in a position where I was able to make my college decision with a visit in the best position I possibly could be in.
Okay.
It was no small endeavor for Syracuse to put together a visitation.
For sure.
So that shows a lot, because for a coach to do that, especially as busy as they are, they're I don't know if did you commit when the season started or after?
I think it was like a couple weeks in, maybe.
So think about it. They got to worry about practice and every other 20,000 other things. Obviously, at that point, how did you decide? Okay, you go on the visit, right? What happens next?
Well, I committed on my visit in a stairwell.
Wow. Is there a picture?
There probably is.
There
somewhere.
probably is a
You
picture.
better find it, because I'm going to put it right here. It's going to be right there.
But yeah, like, just from the beginning, so from June 15th, like, Syracuse, like, it wasn't just like a one-time thing. Like, yeah, like, I like the visit. You might as well commit. Like, it was like just from the get-go, like, they put in so much effort with me, and they really showed that they wanted me, which
obviously that's what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a long, rough summer. So back up. June 15th is a magical date in their world. And
baseball is August, but I got you.
And so, go kid.
Yeah. And sorry, my train of thought.
You were very fortunate.
I was really fortunate June 15th which obviously I have the Pens and Excel to thank for that. I was very fortunate with the attention. But Syracuse, when I was making my decision, like, their goals and their their team values really lined up with what I wanted.
What was that?
I think it was like.
Yeah, he's on your spot.
Yeah, he put me on the spot here. Just the competitive atmosphere. I think their compete level, their unity, their and I think a really big thing for me was the community and the culture of the team. I think all of those aspects really lined up with what I wanted, and I think if I were to have made my decision anywhere else, I think I made a list of what I wanted when I was making my decisions, and I think if I were to have gone anywhere else, I think I would be going against what I really wanted.
Hey, you know what? You got to follow your heart. You know, a lot of times, and this is the thing I tell my son, my oldest son. He's a junior, but technically a sophomore. But I tell him, like, you're always eventually you're gonna have to hit the workforce. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No matter what, you could play hockey, whatever it is, baseball. One day you're going to hit that workforce. You're going to have your own family. You're going to do your thing. So if you have the opportunity to do what you want right now, go after it.
For sure.
So, and then what happened? Sorry to cut you off, but
yeah, so after going through my visit and kind of going through my list of what I wanted and comparing it, and with the support of my family and my coaches back at Pittsburgh and obviously the support of the Syracuse coaches, I felt comfortable enough to make that decision that I wanted to commit.
That's amazing. That picture is amazing. I want that picture. So to put it on there, but okay, so we're gonna do something different though, but we'll do it later. So how much has your parents meant to you this whole entire journey?
Yeah, I cannot express how thankful I am for my parents and everything they've done for me from that beginning 5-minute drive to the pond from now.
Wow.
I really feel like I would not be here. I would not have the same opportunities that I have now if I didn't have them. And how do I say this?
It's okay.
Obviously, not everyone has a parent who's willing to drive 3 hours 3 times a week to get them to practice every day. And I just, sorry, I'm trying to.
No, it's okay. It's all right. I know I put you on the spot, but, this is stuff that a lot of times it's not, we don't express it a lot of times, mm-hmm. And we just go with the flow. But, obviously I've been a witness of how much work, he's been called crazy so many times because of what he's doing. But look at you now, all his efforts and everything. Mm-hmm. But, they've been so supportive. And ever since I've known them, and we're going to talk about some notebook that you have later. So yeah, so
it's a thing, right? As a parent, you look for teachable moments.
Yeah.
And at no time was there, hey, we're doing all of this, and because we're doing this, we're gonna get this, right? We never really thought, never allowed that to come into the thought process. Well, we'll go ahead and do this because it's going to lead to a D1 position, right? Yeah. You're going to get to play. Never really thought that, and I would encourage people to think the same way when they're doing it. You do what you do because you can, and it's the right thing to do. And with her, it was a step-by-step process, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, but each little incremental step forward was her decision. And I, in the beginning, I told her, you just have to put in the work. And as a parent, I gave her the opportunity, and then I watched her take that opportunity.
Wow, that's amazing.
And do it, right? And so she never really gave me a reason to say no. Are we gonna? She never complained about getting in the car and driving down to Pittsburgh. And there were nights where we wouldn't get back. The Thursday nights were rough for 2 years. We wouldn't get back home until midnight.
Wow.
And so she takes a shower, and she's rolling up at 6 to go to school, right? And never complained, never kept her grades up, and so she never gave me a reason to say no. And then there it's kind of funny, a tangent though, but with all of this, right? Hey, here's this skill session. Hey, you want to do this, you want to do that. And she got to the point where she was like, that's pretty good, Dad, but I think we can save the money and not do that. We'll save the money and we'll go do this.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean? So she this was her process and her input and her hard work. And I just kind of allowed it to happen.
Hey, that's what we're here for parents. But, we're here with an amazing family, great story, humble beginning, starting from the Pond, Gilmore, Lady Barons, Jacks, Pittsburgh now to a Syracuse commit. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. We'll give you a little bit of highlights of Kendra, of playing her game. You better send me those videos because people want to watch them on this little 10-second snippet. But we'll be right back with the Matatanes podcast. And we're back with the Matatanes podcast. Matatanes podcast. It's another word for elite. I know that's your favorite word, by the way, Scotty. So we're here with Scott Raypholtz, a good friend of mine and his daughter. Amazing kid. You've heard her story so far. She's, she from the time that she started skating, she pushed her way. She worked hard. Her dad gave her every single opportunity she wanted,
Not
and
everyone.
she took. Pretty much almost.
Pretty much
Pretty much
everyone.
everyone. Because how many miles does your car have?
Ugh.
We'll talk about that later. But, So, Kendra, what are you looking forward the next couple of years before you're off to college? Because you're a junior now, right?
Yeah.
So, how are you going to prepare to be ready? Because obviously, you're committed already, right? Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people get, you know what? I just committed. I'm good. Some people stop working, but what's your plan for the next summer and then next season?
Yeah. So obviously I've been given this opportunity to play at a Division I level, and I'm not going to take that lightly. I think the next couple of years for me, I'm really going to crack down on the weights in the gym, and I'm going to push myself the hardest I possibly can so when I get into Syracuse my freshman year, I'm making an impact and I'm getting that ice. So I think that's what I'm most excited for, is kind of seeing where that freshman year kind of takes me, I guess.
Okay, so take me through a typical day of Kendra. Like, you wake up in the morning, you go to take me to a typical day.
Yeah.
Like a practice day where you do all your stuff.
So on a day where I have Penn's practice and Excel, so I'll wake up, go to school around 8 and then leave at 1:10, drive to the rink. And then once I get there, we get a sheet telling us if we're on the ice or in the gym first and what our schedule is. So then I'll lift or I'll run depending on the day in the gym, and then I'll skate with our Excel program, which is more skills, developmental based, individual stuff. And then after that, depending on timing of the practice, I'll probably have 2 or 3 hours, and that's where I crack down on my homework and try and get as much as that done. And then after that, that's when we have our team lift and team skate, and I get to hang around with my buddies, and that's kind of when our team chemistry, flow stuff kind of comes into.
Okay. So what about on the weekends? You guys get to the game. How's the team camaraderie with your teammates? How are they? It's at a good environment.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
For sure. I think environment and culture is something that's really important to me, and I think that's another reason why the Penn's program was very drawn to me. That's why I stayed, because of our strong culture. I think that might have been something we struggled in the past, but I think now our girls are so serious and competitive about competing in these top tournaments and playing against these top teams, that I think that we all have a common mindset.
Denominator, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that shows a lot through our performance.
That's actually pretty cool. Hey, I'm glad you're not taking it lightly. Again, I've heard of stories of people committing and then they forget about everything else, and nothing happens. But I know that's not going to be that girl, So, Scotty, you have a handy dandy notebook.
The notebook, right?
Handy dandy notebook. So, how did that actually? First, I'm going to tell you what the notebook is. So, Scotty writes every single shift that she takes. It's not to question the coaches. It's just something that he started doing since she was, I don't know how old.
Oh, it goes back to probably first year squirt.
That's amazing. So he has it's this big, handy dandy
notebook.
There's
not just it. There's
no,
probably
I know.
10 of them.
I know, but the crazy thing is he has a spreadsheet.
I do. Well, yeah.
So how did that start?
So she's a kiddo, right? And she's playing defense. And I always thought she was really good at defense, right?
She is.
So, there's another story, right? So they're little, right? And you tuck them into bed and you read them their bedtime story, and you read about pigs and pancakes or whatever, and then you put them to bed, right? Well, there was a time then it came to be where Kendra and I put the book down and we would spend 10, 15 minutes doing Google searches and watching YouTube videos on gap control and neutral zone traps and defense, all this defense stuff.
How do you find that out?
Google. Right? Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
I don't know, but I Google it, right? And she, funny, she'd be, another gap control video. Dad, and I'm like, yeah, but she would sit there and watch them with me, right? And there was a point when she came to me and she goes, Dad, all anybody cares about are goals. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much all everybody cares about, kids. So I didn't know hockey, right? And so I Googled it. And there's this statistic that they keep on defensemen, plus minus. And basically, if you're on the ice and your team scores, you get a plus. If you're on the ice and the other team scores, you get a minus, right? And it is what it is. I don't know. I'm not a statistician, but whatever. I came to her and I said, hey, kid, they've got this thing that they track for defense, right? And this goes all the way up to the NHL. I said, do you want me to do that? And yeah, do that, Dad, right? And so I started doing it. And the value that it had that first year was that it gave her something to focus on instead of scoring goals. She is a petite girl, right? She's small. And so at squirt, she was really small, right? So she's standing back there on the blue line. There's no way that she's going to rip it in the net from the blue line. So goal scoring is not in her wheelhouse, right? But there's all the rest of the game then that she could focus on. Gap control, neutral zones, by the time it was done, I can promise you there wasn't a shift where the other team, when the puck gets turned over and they're bringing it through the zone, when they're in the neutral zone, she's setting her gap, right? By the time they hit the blue line, she's tight on her gap.
So those videos
once they cross the blue line, there was contact. Puck on puck, body on body, some kind of contact happened. And I can promise you, every single time it happened, she was there, and she would go through that process, right? And that comes back from those videos and stuff like that. And so I started taking this plus minus thing, and first year, then again, get away from the goal scoring, learn your position, right? And we never really talked about it. It's not like I was throwing, you had a -2 this game, never talked about it. I just stood on the glass, did my little thing. She knew I was doing it. And that was all the farther it ever went, right? And never talked about it or anything. And the first year I could have been done, but I kept doing it just because it gives me something to do, right? I'm standing on the glass, right? So
and your yellow sweater.
And the
ripped up janky all.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good luck one.
Homeless hoodie. But no, the plus minus thing, it's just now I can't quit, right?
No, you got to keep going. How are you going to do it in college?
The same way. Stand on the glass, And you got to keep going now, right? So
no,
that was the story. That was the story of the notebook. Yeah,
that's amazing. So you have it on your computer now?
I do. I'm a little bit of a type A person, so
okay.
Every once in a while I'll throw it in a spreadsheet, and we can call up that that spreadsheet, and I could show you, her progression over the years.
Has it by date and everything?
Oh yeah, each season.
Oh my God. I would want to see that. Take a picture of that and send it to me. That's actually pretty cool. So that's something that you're gonna have for life. Like
right.
Like you said, you can't just stop right now. You have to keep going. So one of the things I wanted to ask you. Okay, obviously D1 commit. Syracuse. What does Kendra want after Syracuse or during Syracuse?
Well, obviously, I think I touched on this before, but I still want to strive for that national team, and I think that Syracuse will definitely help me get there. And then after, since the girls program is just growing so much, there's now that PWHL program.
Yes.
And I think Syracuse can definitely help me progress and get there as well.
Okay, so it's not just, I'm playing D1. You want to go to the highest level. Mm-hmm. That is amazing. That's why I asked you, because I knew, I didn't ask you about that yet earlier, but yeah, that notebook is amazing. So, can you tell me about his yellow sweater that he carries to every game? I know
he gets made fun of for it.
Why?
Every game, because the sleeves and the bottom of it is just completely looks like a dog tore it up.
It's pretty tight.
Is that like a ritual?
It's more of a ritual for the rest of the team than it is for me. I show up, I do my thing. Exactly. They've all got their swag, and certainly my kid has her fair share of swag over the years, right? And I never really bought anything for myself. And I think it was like year 2, maybe. I got to thinking about it. I'm like, that yellow pen's yellow. I think and I went digging deep, right? And when I was in the military, when I graduated high school and went into the military and I traveled, and I'm pretty darn sure that is a knockoff champion sweatshirt that I bought somewhere, probably in Korea or Thailand, maybe.
When you were like 20 years old?
And I was like probably 19.
Oh, wow.
And I wore it, and then it got thrown in the back of the closet, and then 30 years later I drag it out. And it's the perfect yellow color, right? So it's the perfect.
Oh, it's
shade.
faded. It's faded.
Yeah. But it's it's showing its wear and tear. I look like a homeless person, but
no, you're not.
They love it. It's I get yelled at if I don't wear it. So there it is.
By her or by Tracy?
By the team.
Really?
Yeah, the other parents on the team, they're rough.
Is that crazy now?
Yeah. They see it as a talisman. I have to wear it.
Oh my God, that's a funny story. Like my first year of college, I did really good. I wore the same dirty socks for the whole entire season.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah,
you didn't really need to share that.
But superstition. So that's good. So how's your season going so far?
It's going great actually. I mean, we just beat Shattuck, Philly. We had a great weekend. I love my team. Our culture's great. Atmosphere's great, and obviously last couple of years might have been a little rough for me, but I think it's.
Why is that? You've said that a couple times. Why was it rough?
we could touch about that later. It's okay. Everything has its ups and downs. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we could talk about that at another time. But I'm glad you're what's the word I'm looking for? You're at peace with your team. Mm-hmm. You're scoring a lot of goals.
I'd say I've produced a good amount. I'm producing more than I have been.
Hey, that's good. Obviously, she went from a defenseman to forward. Now she's scoring more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Are you first, second, third, fourth liner?
I would say first, second line. I do tend to go. I'm on a lot of special teams, I'd say. So
okay. The way that coach runs her bench, I think. I'm not a coach. It's situational.
Oh, you're a hockey genius by now.
No.
Scott.
Nope. I think she's situational. So, and this season there's been a lot of movement on the lines. She's trying to find that combination, I think, which I'm a fan of. Let them swap it up. I don't mind it. So, probably first line.
Okay. Are there any other girls that are committed already on your team?
Mm-hmm. There's Maddie Kirsch. She's committed to Merrimack. Adela Pankova, who's from Czechoslovakia. She's going to Northeastern.
Okay.
And then Kayla McCarthy, our captain, just recently committed to Penn State.
Oh, wow.
So,
you're going to be playing against your friends.
Yeah.
See,
future rivals.
This is amazing because, sports, obviously you play, the hockey community is so small. It's huge, but it's just so small. Everybody knows each other. Like, if you go to a tournament in Alaska, you're going to find somebody that you know because it's such a tight-knit community. So, and I think that's what sports brings. Obviously, I'm sure once you play her, you'll take a picture and post it on your social media, and then Scotty will be with his yellow sweater, and she's going to be mad because you're wearing it for her, not for her team. So that's actually pretty cool. But before we finish, I do this. Ashlyn came up with this.
Okay.
Okay. So, and she asked me this question: what would you tell your younger self?
Oh,
you're going last.
Younger self, don't hang on so tight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think I've done a pretty decent job, like just letting the girls, both my daughters, find their own path. But sometimes I think I hang on a little too tight. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Kendra? What would you tell your younger self?
I would say definitely trust in the process, for sure. I think, there's moments, difficult moments sometimes, but I feel like with the help of my parents and the guidance, I was able to overcome them. And I think back then I kind of would get tied up on certain like last year, maybe a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's still back then.
Yeah, but trust in the process. Trust that everything's going to work out and that the hard work will turn out.
Hey, you heard it from Kendra. Hey, guys, thank you for being here. Scotty, you're an amazing guy. Thank you for just bringing your daughter here to this studio. And obviously, we got a fair share of stories.
Thanks for the opportunity. We've never done anything like this before.
It's pretty cool. But Kendra, we're all cheering for you. I hope you have the best season best season this year and then next year, and then you just go and be a starter and hope you accomplish your dream to be in the PWHL and the national team because just gotta follow your dreams. So
Sure.
So people, we're here with Scott Raypholtz, Kendra, with the Matatanes podcast. Follow, click one of the buttons. I'm gonna put her Instagram and on there. You have Instagram, right?
Oh yeah.
Instagram, so you can follow. She has a bunch of videos and stuff in there because that's another thing we didn't talk about, that Tracy takes videos of her. But and you can follow her journey through. But anyways, have a wonderful day and take care of yourselves.